Donald Trump, a man branded by his critics as the ringleader of a sprawling criminal empire, has once again descended upon Scotland, leaving a trail of outrage and taxpayer-funded excess in his wake. His motorcade, a garish procession of American arrogance, snaked through the Scottish countryside today, bound for his prized golf course, a monument to his ego and a lightning rod for local fury. Protesters lined the route, their signs cutting through the drizzle with razor-sharp scorn. One read, "Release the files, you lying job." The word, jobby, if I'm getting it right, is a Scottish jab, a middle finger to a man they see as a con artist in a tailored suit. Another sign, nailed beneath the pristine lettering of Trump's golf course, declared it twinned with Epstein Island, a savage nod to the specter of Jeffrey Epstein that clings to Trump like a shadow he can't shake. The locals aren't just angry. They are organized, deliberate, and unrelenting. This isn't a state visit. It's a 5-day golfing jaunt, a so-called work trip that will see Trump flitting between his Turnberry and Meany courses while opening a new one at Trump International Golf Links, dubbed the greatest 36-hole course by a man who's never short on superlatives. The White House has the gall to call this work. But let's be real. Most people don't get to burn millions of dollars in public fund to play 18 holes while dodging a firestorm of allegations back home. According to a Huffington Post analysis, this escapade will cost American taxpayers $9.7 million, with $3.8 million alone for the transatlantic joyride of Air Force One, which guzzles $273,000 an hour. Add in Secret Service overtime, the transport of Marine One helicopters, and the motorcade's armored vehicles, and the bill balloons. Scottish taxpayers aren't spared either. Millions of pounds will be siphoned off to cover a massive police operation to manage the protests that have erupted like clockwork. In 2018, a similar 4-day golf trip saw 5,000 police officers deployed across the UK, with the Treasury forking over £5 million to cover Scotland's share. This time, the price tag could be even steeper. The Scottish government, to the disgust of many, has rolled over for Trump, kissing the ring of a man they view as a shakedown artist demanding their lunch money. Locals are livid, and they are not hiding it. Stephen Flynn, Aberdeen's bold-as-a-cue-ball MP, trolled Trump with surgical precision, telling the BBC he'd be washing his hair during the visit, a biting quip that underscores the contempt here. The protests aren't just about the money. They are personal. Signs calling out Trump's ties to Epstein, a convicted sex offender who died in jail under murky circumstances, are everywhere. This is not pedophile island. You are not welcome here, one declared, a blunt rejection of Trump's presence and the baggage he drags with him. The Epstein case, with its reams of sealed files and unanswered questions, has reignited public fury, and Trump's attempt to outrun it by fleeing to Scotland has only fanned the flames. This trip is just the latest chapter in Trump's long history of treating the presidency like a personal ATM. In his first term, he racked up $150 million in taxpayer-funded travel and security costs for golf trips alone, spending 293 days at his own resorts. That's not leadership, it's looting. And while he's teeing off in Scotland, Americans back home are grappling with the fallout of his policies. His mass deportations, already underway in cities like Los Angeles, are being called out as racist attacks meant to divide the working class. Protesters are fighting back against ICE with organized resistance, a mirror to the defiance in Scotland. Trump's attacks on women, abortion rights, federal workers, and environmental protections are relentless. He's not just a climate denier. He's dismantled what little environmental framework the federal government had, acting on his rhetoric with a wrecking ball. His racism isn't just talk either. It's policy, executed with chilling precision. The press isn't spared his wrath. Trump's hostility toward journalists has reached Nixonian levels, a half-century throwback to a darker era. He's banned a Wall Street Journal reporter from traveling with him and slapped CBS with a lawsuit, part of a broader campaign to strangle the free press. His $10 billion lawsuit against the Journal, which even targets its owner Rupert Murdoch, stems from a story probing his Epstein connections. This isn't new. Trump's been at war with the media since his days as a New York real estate mogul. Now, he's escalated to dismantling public broadcasters, gutting Voice of America, and pushing his Republican allies in Congress to strip funding from the Public Broadcasting Corporation. The climate for journalists in the U.S. is suffocating, with independent outlets clinging to their freedom as Trump's legal threats and defamation suits pile up. Back in Scotland, the locals aren't buying the diplomacy excuse for this trip. One protester put it bluntly, "It's disgusting. It's racism. It should stop." Another shrugged off the visit with weary indifference. "I don't care. Doesn't interest me at all." But the anger is palpable, especially among those who see Trump's presence as an embarrassment. "I don't think many Scottish people would feel his welcome," one said, while another grudgingly noted that talking is better than silence, even with a man like Trump. The hypocrisy of it all stings. While he flaunts his businesses abroad, General Motors is tanking, its stock plummeting over 7% after a $1.1 billion hit from Trump's tariffs, with worse to come. Yet Trump, ever the showman, promises deal after deal in the coming weeks, boasting of trade agreements that have so far amounted to just four, hardly the record-breaking spree he hyped. The Scottish protests, the millions in costs, the Epstein shadow, it all paints a picture of a man desperate to escape accountability but unable to outrun his own legacy. Trump's trip isn't about golf. It's about distraction, a transatlantic dodge from the questions piling up at home. But the people of Scotland, like those fighting back in Los Angeles, aren't letting him off easy. Their signs, their voices, their defiance scream what many feel. This is a man who thrives on division, on chaos, on power grabbed at the expense of everyone else. And whether it's the millions spent on his vanity or the policies tearing at the fabric of two nations, the cost is too high. Trump may have come to Scotland to play, but the world isn't his course, and the people here are making sure he knows it.